This presentation will help you write competency standards 4, 5, and 6. If this is your first CDA class, you have started with the last 3 standards. For many of you, this is your final CDA course and you will be completing your portfolio. If you have already purchased your CDA Competency Standards Manual from the Council for Professional Recognition, you can follow along. This manual is meant to be read from cover to cover. I am starting this presentation on page 11. The major objective is to put together a professional portfolio. How you do it is entirely up to your creative processes. It must be organized and written in professional language. It is about you, and it is for you. It is meant to be a professional experience. The 6 statements of competence, followed by the related resource collection, is a way to show what you know. These are the 6 Child Development Associate Competency Standards. They are listed on page 35 of the manual. Memorize them. Actually, you won't need to because we work with them continually in our early childhood courses here at FSW. These are the parameters for each competency standard. It is important to complete the resources for each statement because often you refer to that in your writing. Most of the resources are assignments in your early childhood classes. For this class, you will write competency standards 4, 5, and 6 with the accompanying resources. I will go through each one individually. Statement 4 is all about families, to establish positive and productive relationships with families. Your first paragraph will address how your teaching practices meet this standard. Then you will write 3 more paragraphs. One on how you keep families aware of what's going on in your program and in your classroom. 1 paragraph about how you know what is going on in a family's life and how this might influence your teaching. And lastly, a paragraph on what you learned from your parent questionnaires. So if you haven't given these out to your families yet, now is the time. Now come the resources for Competency Statement 4. You will construct a family resource guide called a Modified Child Care Handbook in this class. Minimally, it needs to contain a local counseling agency, a translation service for our families that are not native speakers. This resource becomes vitally important if you begin to have difficulty with a student whose family does not speak English. Your guide will also provide 2 agencies that help students with challenges. And lastly, at least 3 websites with a description to help your families come to a better understanding of child development. Hint, 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 your modules are probably full of these. Okay. Competency Statement 5. This is our program management module to ensure a well-run, purposeful program that is responsive to participants' needs. The first paragraph is about how your own teaching practices meet the standard. Then you will write at least 1 paragraph that describes how you used the observational tool. Talk about why observation/documentation/assessment are important parts of your program. How do you ensure that each child is observed, documented, and assessed? Resource 5 will be 3 record-keeping forms you use in your child care facility: an accident form, an emergency form, and a completed tool or form or diagnostic instrument that you have used to observe and document a child's developmental learning process. The child's name should be blanked out, or you can use their initials. Competency Statement 6, to maintain a commitment to professionalism. As in the previous statements, Start with a paragraph that describes how your professional practices meet the standard. Then write a paragraph on the following 2 items. Why have you chosen to become an early childhood educator? Then a paragraph on what you believe are the most important indicators of professionalism that you personally possess. Yes, this is definitely a time to brag about yourself. This is often an interview question when you are being hired, so reflect on this for a time. These are the resources associated with Competency Statement 6, and these are the final 3 resources. Resource 6.1, the name and contact information for the state agency that is responsible for the regulation of child care centers and family child care centers. I encourage candidates to go to the website and print it off. You will need to also print off the sections that describe qualification requirements for personnel, and requirements for group size, and requirements for adult-child ratios. Resource 6.2, this will be a list of 3 early childhood associations. Again, print off the website, then describe the professional resources and membership opportunities. It's even better if you are already a member of one. Resource 6.3 are the summaries of the legal requirements regarding child abuse and neglect. Again, print off the website and the page that gives mandatory reporting guidance. This should be the easiest since you were asked to write one for this class and maybe even some of your other classes you've taken. This is most definitely all about you. Most professional development specialists read this first. You may not even meet with your professional development specialist before he or she comes to observe you for the verification visit. This statement will introduce you and tell the specialist a great deal about you. It can't be more than 2 pages, so you have to pick what you write about very carefully. I've given some starter questions here. You may rewrite this statement several times before your verification visit. Have others read it to see if it really reflects who you are. If you look toward the back of the CDA manual on page 141, you will see that you will be discussing your professional development with a specialist. So think about your areas of strength and your areas that need some growth. This whole process is about you and for you. It is a first step in your professional development. While you were in the back of the book, look through the comprehensive scoring instrument. This is what the professional development specialist completes when she comes for the verification visit. Familiarize yourself with it. If you know what the specialist is looking for, you can be prepared, and then you won't be as nervous. Yes, this process is hard work, but if it were easy, everybody would do it. Holding a national CDA and having completed 3 college-level courses as a training component is highly valued in Florida, actually the entire nation. The national CDA is valid all over the world, so once you have it, you are good to go anywhere, although we certainly hope you will stay here in our community. We need all the great teachers we can get. Good luck.